I know the future, now everyone can read my mind. Chapter 7, Patient File. At the same time, inside Jujitsu High, Geto Suguru's life was quite routine. When he wasn't on a mission, he would typically have dinner between 5:30 and 6 p.m. After dinner, he'd walk around the sport field for about half an hour to help digestion, then take a shower to wash away the day's fatigue. After showering, he usually didn't use a hairdryer. Instead, he would use a towel to dry his hair as much as possible and then let it air dry naturally. With the length of his hair, it would take approximately 2 hours or so to dry completely. During this time, he would read a book or play games with friends. But today, he chose to chat in the lounge. Gojo Satoru appeared in the lounge around the same time, and when he saw Geto Suguru, his eyes lit up. "Suguru, I was just about to find you." Geto Suguru, who was pressing a button on the vending machine for a drink, looked up at Gojo Satoru as he entered and pressed for a second bottle. He asked, "What's up?" He then turned around and handed one of the drinks to Gojo Satoru. Gojo Satoru accepted the drink naturally and handed his phone to Geto Suguru. "Look at this, I just contacted home and had them confirm 2 people. Geto Suguru took the phone and looked at it. The first thing that appeared on the screen was a photo. The man in the photo, with muscular build and wearing black clothes, looked quite unfriendly. The name written underneath was Fushiguro Toji. And below that was a line noting his previous name, which read, Zenin Toji. Zenin? Ordinary people shouldn't be able to use that surname, right? Geto Suguru was taken aback. "Is this someone like you, from the big 3 families? Right?" Gojo Satoru crossed his long legs, speaking smugly, "My memory is impeccable. The name, Toji, isn't that common, but I had a feeling I had heard it somewhere, so I wanted to check if I knew this guy. And it turns out I did." Geto Suguru nodded and continued scrolling through Fushiguro Toji's information. The profile briefly explained that Toji was born without cursed energy, which meant he didn't have an easy life growing up in the Zenin family, facing all sorts of discrimination and bullying. After becoming an adult, he left the Zenin family, quickly found someone to marry, and had a child. Unfortunately, his first wife passed away early due to illness. When he remarried, he married into a family named Fushiguro, and he changed his and his son's surname to Fushiguro. So, that guy was right, there really is someone named Fushiguro Toji, and this guy might even be the one who kidnaps Riko-chan. Geto frowned, analyzing. Based on this, it's possible that Riko-chan's bounty on the dark web was posted by this Fushiguro Toji. Stop calling him, that guy, that guy. I've got more information on him too. Suguru, swipe left on the screen. Gojo Satoru shook his head with a smug look. That guy wanted to go to a neurology hospital, right? So I had someone at home check the hospital's patient records. Based on the age and gender of patients who were admitted on that day, I filtered a bit and found him. Look, is it him? Geto Suguru swiped the screen to the left, revealing the next image. It was a patient record. The face shown was that of the boy they had seen earlier that day, dressed in green and white striped hospital clothes, with the background being that very neurology hospital. Geto Suguru thought to himself, so this guy was previously hospitalized and now he's been discharged. Was he just going back for a follow-up today? He continued reading. Name, Yatsuya Sena. Gender, male. Age, deleted. Occupation, none. Affiliation, dropped out of school. Diagnosis, schizophrenia, initial diagnosis. Note 1. Before hospitalization, the patient often experienced hallucinations, expressed in the second person, with disorganized associations and no self-awareness. During acute phases, the patient reacted strongly due to hallucinations, unable to distinguish between hallucinations and reality, leading to aggressive behaviors. Note 2. After 3 months of treatment, the patient's condition was effectively controlled, and the patient met the discharge criteria. Since there is no family member to act as a guardian, the patient is under supervised follow-up by a community volunteer. Geto Suguru finished reading. Funny, isn't it? Gojo Satoru's face darkened. Clearly a jujitsu sorcerer, yet forced into psychiatric treatment at a hospital by ordinary people and classified as mentally ill. After being discharged, he was advised to drop out of school, and now he barely makes a living by working at a convenience store. Shoko, sitting on a bench in the break room, smoking, heard Gojo speak and continued, he must be having a hard time surviving in the normal society. He's still young, without a degree, and has a history like this on his record. No company would want him. Then let's bring him to the jujitsu world, Geto Suguru smiled. He was also from an ordinary backgrounds, so Geto Suguru understood very well how out of place they were in the normal world. Although I don't know why the three of us can hear his inner thoughts, it seems his curse technique must be precognition. Ordinary people see him as having an illness, but in the jujitsu world, he'd be considered a treasure. Gojo Satoru was eager. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go now. Shoko patted her skirt as she stood up and casually asked, if Yaga-sensei asks, what do we say? Just say that he was in danger and we didn't have time to report it, we needed to save him first. He certainly is in danger. Geto Suguru's expression suddenly changed. Without even returning to change clothes, he quickly summoned his flying cursed spirit. Everyone, get on quickly. I suspect that besides us, there's someone else who can hear his inner voice. We need to stop them quickly before they say anything. Who? Gojo Satoru pulled Shoko onto the flying cursed spirit. Geto Suguru grabbed Shoko with one hand to prevent her from falling and used the other to command the cursed spirit to move quickly. He answered, I don't know. But from my cursed spirit's feedback, that kid looks a lot like Fushiguro Toji. Bobo. Seina's tone was very serious. Considering that Sumiki couldn't see the cursed spirit, to avoid suspicion, Seina took Bobo behind the counter and quietly scolded it, how could you just randomly pounce on a child? What if you hurt someone? Big brother doesn't have the money to pay for damages. Meow. Bobo whimpered pitifully. How could a kitten have ill intentions? Why be so mean to it? Megumi's face is very important. Meow. Bobo began to playfully roll around on the spot, acting spoiled. No matter what, kitties are so cute, kitties good, people bad. Seina petted Bobo, thinking, so many girls have liked Megumi from when he was young until now, mainly because he's handsome. Fushiguro Megumi, initially very angry after being hit by the cat, almost to the point of tears, suddenly felt most of his anger dissipate after hearing Seina's words, though his face turned a bit red. Anyway, Megumi's really something. Just how many people have liked him? Forget about blueberry yogurt. When he was a kid, he saved an angel, and from then on, the angel loved him. In the culling game, there was Remy who wanted Megumi to be her knight, but he refused. During first semester, the whole class of girls were infatuated with him, even Zenonmai's first love was probably him. Fushiguro Megumi quietly turned away, his ears a little red. He thought to himself, what angel? There isn't any girl named Remy in my class, so how come playing some game makes me her knight? So childish. And who is Zenonmai anyway? Furthermore, Maki and Mai are actually from the same generation as Fushiguro Toji. Fushiguro Toji is the son of the Zenin family's eldest brother, and the two sisters are the daughters of the younger brother, so by generational standing, Fushiguro Megumi should call them aunt. Fushiguro Megumi. What is this mess? Does that mean my father has two sisters, and one of them even has a crush on me? In his mind, Fushiguro Megumi imagined a muscular 30-something-year-old Fushiguro Toji, then replaced his father's face with a more feminine one and imagined the person twisting their body, pouting, and winking at him. The blush that had colored his cheeks drained in an instant. A 5-year-old can't handle such a disturbing mental image. Isn't this just an unhealthy fetish for loli and Shotokan? Just how many more weirdos like that will he encounter in the future? Chapter 7 End. When I read this detail, I was really shocked. Let's all be shocked together.